Hey everyone, it's Amber here. I want to talk about the science of consciousness. So, for those of you that know me, you know I am very authentic. I tend to be very authentic and real. So, I want to talk about a near death experience that I had. I write about it in the book, Heal the Four Woundings. So, it's important for you to understand who are you and what is your true nature. So in 2016, I had a near-death experience that cracked my consciousness, literally. And what I realized was I had it wrong about who I was. You are literally a spark, a fractal of the consciousness of the Creator. All right, let me lay out a few scientific pieces of evidence for this. It's important that you understand why I say this. Okay, so in my near-death experience, I experienced a being of light that I knew was the infinite creator. Okay, that is a profound mystical experience. I then studied the neuroscience of unconscious bias, and I studied consciousness. And I want to share with you some of the scientific insights. Okay, we all have heard of the MRI and the EEG that's basically measuring signals in the brain and the patterns and the activity in the brain, but they still have no idea what's actually going on and how is it that you have awareness. Okay, so there's one. They have no idea what's going on. Let's talk about quantum theory. So there's these two guys, one Dr. Roger Penrose, he's a physicist, and then there's a physician named Stuart Hamerhoff. They suggest that consciousness is related to these quantum processes in the brain. And basically what they're saying is that consciousness comes from these little microtubules that are cells in the brain. And they essentially try and prove and argue that that's actually what's happening. Okay, so then, think about the brain, then understand the universe is one big system. Why does manifestation work? All right, so we've all heard of the concept quantum entanglement. Well, what is that? So experiments have shown that particles can be entangled if you affect one particle. So you affect this particle over here, it instantly affects another, no matter how far they are. And this suggests that the universe is deeply connected. And based on my near-death experience, what I knew is that all things have particles in them, for which those particles are particles of the consciousness of the infinite creator. That's why when you affect one, you affect the other, because there's only consciousness, and that consciousness is the spark of the consciousness of the creator. It's an energy. All right, we all have heard about the Big Bang Theory. So the scientists argue that everything started from a single point, and it has to do with the density and energy, and it's forever expanding, which I do believe is true. But then there is a concept called the observer effect. So really think about this. In quantum physics, the observer effect suggests that simply by you observing something, by you placing your awareness on something, that we change the state of what you're looking at. So in the double slit experiment, particles behave like waves when they're not observed. But like particles, but then they act like particles when they are observed. So when they're not observed, they're waves, but when they are observed, they're like particles. This seems to suggest that consciousness, or your awareness, where you place it, affects your reality. That's why manifestation works. Okay, so then there's this Dr. Alan Aspect, who is a Nobel Nobel Peace Prize winner. What he said was that entangled particles, they instantly affect each other over long distances. It proves that where you place your awareness affects that reality. That's how manifestation works. And so that's why I suggest you focusing on yourself in a loving way. Because if you love yourself, you then manifest that towards you. If you hate yourself, you are manifesting that towards you. All right. Let's look at MIT game theory. So a PhD from MIT studied game theory, and basically what they said in game theory is that they modeled simulations, and they found that based on game theory, we have not been able to understand the true nature of our reality at all, and that it's really incomplete. All right, last thing I just want to suggest to you is think about this. Where's my phone? Okay, so my phone. When you call someone on the phone, how are you doing it? So the being of light, I went into a light with a being of light that I knew was the infinite creator. And information was basically transferred into me via light. All right, your mind needs something to hold on to so that it can wrap its head around that. How do you think you call someone on the phone and you tell them what you want? Essentially, you're communicating via light, via your phone to someone else. It is literally transferring information via the phone, via light to the other person. That's what's happening. So the other thing is, think about your cells. Your cells are 99% space. So even though I think this is firm and actually whole, it's not. It's not. There's actually space between these cells. So I want you to think about that and just consider that you are a consciousness. If you are a consciousness and you create your reality via manifestation, where you place your awareness, if you place your awareness on yourself and that awareness is positive, that's what you will manifest. If it's loving, that's what you'll manifest. If it's kind, that's what it will manifest. If you are mean to yourself, if you bully yourself, if you create discord with yourself, that's what you're going to attract. All right, I just want you to think about it. More to come. What are you choosing? Think about it. I want you to have a lovely day. I hope this newsletter helped you. Talk to you soon.